Yes, they can. I think Jimmy Butler at 75% is probably better than most NBA players in this league right now. 50%, that might be a different story. But yeah, if he's at least 75%, yes, they can beat Houston here.
All right, Monica, your turn. What was your biggest takeaway from the Cavs Game 2 win over the Heat?
Donovan Mitchell / balance, Matt. Donovan Mitchell had 17 points in the fourth quarter, 10 in clutch as Miami was making this thing interesting. But then you look up and down this roster, they got big time contributions from everybody. You got the 9 assists from Garland. Mobley had a terrific game. Allen was a beast on the screen actions. Like, they're really balanced and rolling.
All right, back to Bobby. What is your biggest takeaway from the Celtics Game 2 win?
That everybody needs a Derek White on their roster here, the ultimate two-way player. 2 big threes in the fourth quarter last night, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, basically fills up the box score every night for you.
Monica, your thoughts?
Agreed. I also think you got to give a special shout out to the medical staff, but I think I'm foreshadowing if folks didn't see it last night.
Yeah, you talk about the medical staff. What video we saw last night? You know, winning titles takes blood, sweat, and tears and everything in between. What about Kristaps Porzingis? He had all 3 last night. This takes me back to the 80s NBA with Kristaps just leaking on the floor.
Gross. Very gross. We went through a series of Band-Aids in response to this, and then ultimately 5 stitches, I believe, was the report from Stephanie Reddy on this game. Gross. Just like we couldn't wipe the blood out of his hair. Like what? Ugh, gross.
No, we're making it NBA style. Is Joe Mazzulla, by the way? Hey, he had an interesting comment about it.
I love watching him. I like watching him bleed on the court. I think it's important. And then he.
He turns around and is trying to make sure that Porzingis is okay. It gives you an interesting visual. I don't think I need this. I honestly think in an era of Instagram, folks don't want stitches in their face either. Like,
Yeah, see, so you just admitted on national television you're into the filters. You're into the filters to make things not appear real. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying, Barry. Do you think I would be on television without makeup if I was? It's not what I'm saying, Barry. Do you think I would be on television without makeup if I was into filters? For the record, I'm just saying nobody wants their face jacked up.
Fair enough. And if Bobby really wants to commit to the assignment, I would love to see him bleed on national TV, but that's probably not where we're going to go.
I'm not a bleeder, Matt. I'm not a bleeder.
Keeping it there. Tomorrow, we have a trio of NBA playoff Game 3. Celtics Magic starts 7 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage of Pacers Bucks begins 8 Eastern on ESPNU. Lakers Timberwolves tips off 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. Now, one of the best things about draft night is the reaction when names are called. But coming up, Dominique will give his favorite reactions like only he can. Don't miss this when we return. Of the night and perhaps in all of the playoffs, look at Jimmy Butler and the awkward fall on his tailbone after the rebound. Just a nasty collision with the floor. You see right there, that left side of his tailbone. He walked up, so he'd hit the free throw, would not return. We'll get into that more in just a minute. However, Jalen Green got into it and then some. Look at that step back 3. Rockets up 18, just over a minute and a half. Warriors down 15. Stephen tries to get his team back in it off the screen, hits the 3. Thought he was fouled. Didn't get the call. Warriors down 12. Ensuing Rockets possession. Oh, it's Jalen Green again. 14-point lead at the half. Under a minute to go in the third. Rockets up 82-68. Yep. Watch this finish. Ha! 15 points in the third for Green. Also had 15 points in the first half. Rockets lead by 16 at this point, just a formality. It was a good bounce back for those 2-seeded Rockets. They win 109-94. Jalen Green, 38 points, 6 assists, 3 steals. Steph, 20 points, 5 assists, 9 rebounds. And a little bit of exchange between Draymond Green and Van Vliet. It doesn't matter at this point because it's gone final. Warriors lose the game. Rockets tie the series. The biggest question was Steph afterwards if he had checked in with the injured Jimmy Butler.
Sure, 800 people have asked him, so I didn't want to add the 801. I know if he can play, he'll play, and that's what you expect.
Jimmy's only going to tell you he feel good. Like, you good? Like, of course. So, we'll see.
We will. It is wait and see now. If the Warriors are going to do anything in this series, they're going to need Jimmy Butler healthy. This season, Warriors have won 75% of their games when Butler has been in the lineup. Before the trade, I mean, you know, Golden State an under 500 record. This is to say that Jimmy Butler means everything to a playoff push for the Warriors. As we bring in Bobby and Monica with us to discuss all things Jimmy Butler. Bobby, simply, are the Warriors in trouble without Jimmy Butler?
Oh, yeah, I do, Matt. I mean, look at the Warriors team before they got Jimmy Butler. And now if you subtract him from this roster, and we'll see where his health is, they're basically a watered-down version. Remember, without Butler and certainly without Andrew Wiggins, who they've traded here. So as great as Stephen Curry is and as great as a coach as Steve Kerr is, they need Jimmy Butler to get past the Houston Rockets in this series here. The good news is that they don't play until Saturday night, so they do have a couple days off. But of course, they need They need a healthy Jimmy Butler on the floor for them to get past Houston.
Look, I just think you can't underestimate the value of Butler, right? Like, even down to the free throw, somebody finally getting to the line. Bobby nailed it. Like, without him, they've depleted this roster. And last night, they get 50 points from their bench. It's a blowout, so it's kind of hard to gather that. But even in it being a blowout, I mean, it was a dozen-point game, sort of in striking distance down in the fourth quarter. But Houston playing with this level of confidence on both sides of the floor, if they can maintain this, then the Warriors, to me, they're in real trouble if Butler can't get healthy. Now, if Jalen Green, can be that efficient,
sure,
we'll wait to see for the rest of the series. But this was one of Houston's best games so far in the postseason for sure.
Yeah, Monica, stay there for a minute because we know Steph's one of the greatest shooters, if not the greatest shooter we've seen in NBA history. He's got the bona fides to carry the Warriors. We know Butler's going to be banged up. Is Steph enough? Can he carry the Warriors at least into the point where Butler can be healthy enough to contribute again?
I mean, both teams need to win 3 more. You got 5 games to get that done. Look, I'm not going to say no, Matt, in that we've seen Stephen Curry show up with 50-point performances when it matters most. Like, he continues to sort of defy the odds at this point in his career. What I will say is the degree of difficulty on such a task is very, very high, especially because Houston is a team that really hangs their hat on the defensive end of the floor. And like I said, if they get this level of offense rolling, they don't even have to be this good. But if they have their defense and have, 70% of what they offered last night, without Jimmy Butler, the Warriors look like a completely different squad.
Bobby?
No, I agree. I mean, listen, if Jimmy Butler's not on there, that allows Ime Udoka to game plan more around Stephen Curry. And now you're asking who's going to be the other offense you're going to get from. Is it going to be, are you going to get more Draymond Green, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, who we didn't see much last night because he had food poisoning here. So that's the big concern as far as removing Butler. I thought last night if Jimmy Butler stayed in this game, and certainly if the injury didn't happen, that they would have won this game because they would have hung around enough because of the immaturity of Houston down the stretch. And we did see a little bit of that last night where they allowed Golden State to kind of creep in. But if you're looking at going home, I think if there's no Jimmy Butler, you got to get a split. Because at least you know you can get back to Houston and win there because you've done it before.
And look, maybe a blessing for the Warriors in this case. We wait on the Jimmy Butler injury and how long he could be out. It's a 7-game series. These things take time. There is time for him to get back and get healthy. We'll find out. But again, the Rockets, they looked every bit of the 2 seed last night against the banged-up Warriors. Much more NBA playoffs throughout the morning. But let's switch gears now to the NFL draft. And I want to make some draft day declarations. Actually, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put it in the hands of our experts. Ryan Clark, you lead us off. What is your draft day declaration?
The Pittsburgh Steelers do not have to draft a quarterback in the first round. And I get it. They have to have one if they want to compete. But look at what Mike Tomlin has done with mediocre quarterbacks year after year. And that's also why they're in this place. You draft Kenny Pickett 20th overall in a year that you shouldn't have selected him. And now you've continued to keep your team in quarterback purgatory. If the guy isn't there at 21, pick the best football player.
I love it. Schrager, declare.
I love it. I love it from RC right out of the gates. I'm going number 5, Jacksonville. He's only a 5'8" running back at a position we don't value in the league anymore. But I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Ashton Genty, 5th overall. Only 5'8", did not play at one of the big schools, comes out of Boise State where he put up huge numbers. Jaguars trying to establish what they're going to be. This kid is an A-plus player, but an even better character. They can point to their franchise, say, this is what we're about. Jags go Genty.
Oh, Schrager, you're going to have Mel Kiper spitting up his coffee this morning. Meek, what is yours?
Oh, I know one thing that I'm going to say tomorrow morning is, wow, the Eagles got a steal. Because that is what we say every year around this time, because they kind of do end up with Quinyon Mitchell last year and Cooper DeJean in the second round, Jalen Carter the year before. It seems like the teams that are really talented happen to draft really well, and players that you imagine fitting into to a situation like that, you know will work out well for a team like the Eagles.
Funny how that works. They win doing it. Dan Graziano, give me that draft day declaration.
2 quarterbacks will be selected in round 1, and Shedeur Sanders will not be one of them. It's been hard to find a lot of really excited buzz about Shedeur the last couple of weeks. You are hearing a lot of positive things about Mississippi's Jackson Dart as maybe the guy that the Giants or the Browns or some other team might want to trade back up into the first round to possibly secure. So yeah, if the Steelers don't take Shedeur Sanders at 21, I think it's entirely possible we're still sitting here tomorrow morning wondering where he's going to go.
Yeah, could you imagine that? We're sitting here tomorrow morning recapping the first round of the draft. 2 quarterbacks go. One of them is not Shedeur Sanders, so Gras says Dart might well go ahead of Shedeur, who slips to round 2. Ryan Clark, your reaction?
Well, I mean, the first thing is I know that guys like Dan Graziano, Peter Schrager, Adam Schefter, they aren't just pulling these things from thin air. They're having the conversation with some of the decision makers. So this is a real thing. And if it's a real thing, this is because the evaluation of the quarterbacks by each team specifically says that Shedeur Sanders isn't the quarterback that they want in the first round. He isn't the quarterback that they could project being someone that steps into the building, has the maturity, has the professionalism and the skill to be a franchise quarterback. And I believe that that's wrong. In the way that I've looked at these guys, in the way that I've studied their tape, I believe that there's things that Shedeur Sanders can do that Jackson Dart has not yet mastered, and I don't know if you can teach him to do those things. The long ball is the difference between the two. Jackson Dart